Welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of the Team Lead Talks podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Becker, out of Alexandria, Virginia. On this episode, one of my newest friends that I met in Nashville, Tennessee, more than like a month or two ago now, Jiries Dawaher of Cincinnati, Ohio, is a killer real estate investor, and he is coming on our show to share with us his knowledge and his experience. Welcome, man. Good to see you again.
Dude, you too, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So let's just jump right into it, dude. For those of you listening that don't know Jiries, tell us the 80,000 foot level of who you are, how you got into real estate.
Man, my story can be a little long, so I'll try to cut through it as quick as I can.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. It can be a little long-winded, but I'll start from the beginning-ish. I'll talk about high school for a second. So I'll back it up a little bit more. So I came from a first-generation immigrant family. My parents came here from Jordan in 1978 to live the American dream. And growing up, I watched my dad work 3 jobs, push shopping carts, load vending machines, just do all kinds of craziness. And I'm like, well, that doesn't seem like the American dream. But they were like, they were sacrificing so I could live the dream. And part of that was going to school, getting good grades, going to college, being a doctor or an engineer or whatever.
Yeah.
And then making money that way and doing that for 50 years, then retiring, then hoping not to die right after. And then that was it. That was the American dream, right? Problem was I was terrible in school. I graduated 300 out of 320 kids in high school. My GPA was a 1.5. It was very, very bad. But I wasn't a troublemaker. I just had a really hard time learning the way that school taught us to learn. And I'll get into that in a second. But basically, it was my senior year. I was talking to my guidance counselor. They were doing our exits. And they're like, Jiries, what do you want to do after high school? And I'm like, well, I want to go to college because that's the right answer, right? And he looked at me and he's like, well, do you have any more realistic expectations? And I'm
What
like,
else do you want to do?
I was like, dang. All right. Well, I don't know. So coincidentally, it was like a career day thing and the military was there. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just go join this army thing that kind of takes everybody, right? Because it was like right around 9/11. It was, and right after all that happened. And I ended up going and joining the military right after high school. At 17, I had signed up. And I ended up being a helicopter mechanic. I fixed Chinooks CH-47s, those big helicopters with 2 propellers.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that I went into a very difficult job after high school of being a helicopter mechanic after barely graduating high school, but I went to go be the distinguished honor graduate. Like I crushed it in the military. I got top physical fitness scores, top test scores, top everything scores. And I look back at that time and I'm like, man, how was I such a poor high school student? But how did I excel so much in the military? And the one thing that I realized is like our school system is just so dated and it basically the message was this. It was like you have to prepare for a test. So what do you do for your test? You just read a bunch of stuff, you memorize, and you take a test. But I was very bad at that. When in real life, like what the military taught me was like you didn't need to know all the answers. You just needed to know where to find them. And all of our tests were open book in the military. So I was just like, droop stop limiter was broken. The clutch was broke. The collective needed fixed. So I could just reference it, which I find is a lot more in line with like real life. So
Yeah.
I'm really bad at memorizing, but better at finding the answers. So that's kind of like my origin, my first little part of my story there.
Dude, let me share just a really interesting, maybe ironic side note. So my wife's grandfather up in Pennsylvania worked on the propulsion system for the Chinook helicopter way back in the day. So
That's
it's really
amazing.
funny that you like also worked on Chinooks.
Yeah,
But yeah, okay.
The engines were turbines, so there was a different mechanic that did the turbine. I did everything else like on the helicopter, so that's so funny.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah, man, anytime. Man, and that was I guess we'll kind of where do you want to go next?
Yeah, so you struggled with high school a little bit, but you excelled in the army and what you're doing there because you realize that in real life you don't have to study or know anything. Like I look stuff up all the time, and I'm sure everyone listening, including yourself, also does that. But how does this transition? Like, tell us how you got into the real estate world.
Yeah, so I did that for about 9 years in the military, and through in the military, I got introduced to this whole concept, this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, right?
Yeah.
Who all's read that? I feel like that's been
Yeah.
everybody's like
Right.
catalyst into real estate. And I was like, man, all these people have this thing in common. They all make a lot of money in real estate, it seems like. And that's how you go from one quadrant to the other side. And I was like, well, I want to learn. I want to do real estate. And my time in the military came to an end about 2009ish, 2010. And I was like, well, I want to get into real estate. Problem was, I had saved no money at all while I was in the military, and I had destroyed my credit. It was a 474. That's a story for a different day, but
Yeah, we'll have you
it,
on again. You can talk about that.
yeah, I mean, I destroyed it. And I was like, well, crap. I want to get, I want to get into real estate, but I don't have any money or credit. Like I don't have any of that stuff. And this was like 2009, 2010. So I went and I actually bartended in South Carolina for a little bit because I'm like trying to figure out what to do next. And then I got introduced to this whole concept of getting to real estate with little to no money by researching, right? Because I didn't need to know all the answers. I just needed to know where to find them. And I was really good at finding answers. And there was this whole thing that like a few people were talking about back then. And it's not what it is now, where it's everybody on TikTok and Instagram is a wholesale genius. It was about wholesaling real estate. And this was, like I said, 2009, 2010. And I'm like, man, so I can find properties with just hustle and then sell them to people that want more properties and just do that over and over again. So I'm like, screw it. I'm like, I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to learn how to wholesale real estate. So from 2010 to 2016 ish, I learned how to. And I got really, really good at wholesaling real estate. I got so good that I had done over 1,000 transactions during that period. And I built an entire company around it. I had an on market, off market, share of sales, short sales, probate. You name it, we did it. We just crushed it. And one of my best friends, Tyler, and I made a lot of other great friends as we built our company. But from that period, from 2010 to 2016, I did over 1,000 transactions.
Wow.
And I used that to fix my credit, learn how to talk to sellers, learn how to source deals, renovation stuff, all of that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, I was like, man, wholesaling is great, but it still feels like a job. Like I still have to kind of have to show up, and I had some systems and this and that. But I'm like, man, I'm watching these people I'm selling houses to that are like creating wealth. They're buying and holding a lot of these properties. So from 2016 to 2020, I was like, all right, I'm done wholesaling. I fixed my credit. I saved money. I did all this. So now let me start buying and holding real estate. So from 2016 to 2020, I went on to buy about 60 doors in about 4.5, 5 years that I owned 100% of, which was awesome. And then 2020 hit, COVID hit, and then I kind of took a step back, looked at my portfolio. I'm like, man, this is over $10 million. At the time, I had about 5 million in equity, 6 million in equity. Pulled out a little bit of money, and then in 2020, I went on to go buy my first two hotels, Hampton Inn and a Staybridge, which
Wow.
was pretty cool. About all of that was about 10 years after I got into real estate with a 474 credit score and no money. Then to go on and buy a couple of hotels is pretty
Awesome,
sweet.
dude. So
Yeah.
where you clearly have a lot of awesome experience. There's so many different ways we can go in this conversation about your real estate wholesaling business, your door, portfolios. Out of just curiosity, real quick, do you still own all 50 or 60 doors?
Yeah, I do. So like, yeah, I do. And it was like I the funny thing is like from 2020 after I bought the hotel, I had stopped buying my own units that I own 100% of. I only bought like 2 units in the last 5 years. And I still have them. They're still hanging out, but my plan for 2026 is in the next few years, I think there's a huge opportunity. I see a lot of things matching up in the market that are very reminiscent of when I first started in 2010. And I'm like, I call some of my lenders, I call some of my people, and I'm like, guys, like, I'm gonna go on another sprint. I'm gonna buy like another 60 to 100 doors in the next like 3 years. So have your money ready because I'm turning it back
That's
on,
what you're
guys.
doing as we speak right now?
Yeah, I actually got 6 or 8. I got 8 units under contract total that I'm closing on in like between January and February 10th
Dude,
of
that's
next year.
awesome.
So I'm ramping.
I was watching a few of your videos on like Facebook and everywhere you are online, and you talk a lot about like financing. Let's talk about that for a little bit. You mentioned earlier terrible credit score, absolutely no money. We'll have you on another time to talk about that. How are you, like, walk us through, like, you get a deal, you find a deal. Tell us how you typically find deals, number one. Then number two, a deal takes money to close. How are you actually making that come to fruition?
So let's talk about yeah. So we'll look at this with a couple lenses. I'll answer this for that person that's watching this. That's like, I have no money. I have no money. I'm where you were at in 2010 because I get it. Like I was there. So number one is when you find the right deal. And like guys, I'm telling you, this sounds crazy. There are deals on the MLS. There's deals on the market that people can buy that are deals that they just don't know yet. And I say that because like a lot of my wealth, a lot of the way that I do real estate and I help people with real estate is like finding these functionally obsolete properties and forcing the appreciation. Because when you understand how to maximize a floor plan, you can literally take something that other people think's worth 200,000 all fixed up and make the right modifications, and all of a sudden it's worth like 270.
Give us an example of that, dude. What do you mean by
Yeah,
that?
I mean, dude, I mean, my gosh, I just did this with this house in Norwood that is pending right now. But like, here's an example. I have a lot of two families, and my two families back in the day, they're built like in the early 1900s. Number one is a one bed, and the way it's set up is front door, dining room, kitchen, bedroom off to the side. So that's a one bed, and that one bed will rent for that one bed will rent for 50, 900,
Are you
950.
doing this in Ohio or like
Oh yeah.
anywhere?
Oh, dude,
Okay.
you do this everywhere. I'm helping people do this all over. Like one of my girls, she lives in California. She's investing out of state in Augusta, Georgia, doing the exact same thing. Like it's all over. So if a one bedroom, and that's just the first floor unit. The second unit is pretty much identical, and a lot of times there's a dead third floor attic space too. So my change is this: like, well, two bedrooms rent for more than one bedroom. So how can we do that? Well, living room still right here, but instead of a dining room right here and a kitchen here, we're going to turn this kitchen into a bedroom. We're going to move the kitchen into here with an island area or a peninsula, because nowadays people don't need those separate living spaces,
Right.
and you create that spot to gather. So now I can rent that two bedroom for 1,400 versus the 950. So that's an extra 500 just on that unit. You do the same thing upstairs, that's an extra 1,000. So the value goes up. So doing that over and over again. And number one is like when you're starting out, here's what people are looking to see. People are looking to see when you're going to quit. Because sometimes, like, I had that reputation of being that person that was super ambitious, but I kind of like jumped from thing to thing. Like, I was maybe selling like long distance with Excel or vitamins with Shackley or some multi-level marketing thing, or I was doing this or I was this. And number one is people are watching you to see when you're going to give up and do the next thing. Now, the key is just to be persistent and be a student in the game. Like watching like Andrew, watching people that are doing what you want to do. There is so much free information on the internet, guys. Just dive into it. The key though is yes, you can make money with Airbnb, storage units, arbitrage, assisted living, BRRRR, all this other stuff, right? But you will not make money if you're trying to do all of them at the same time. So find somebody or a method that resonates with you and then just follow that. And don't follow it for like a week or a month. Like follow it for a little bit with intention. So, keep that in mind. So, number one is be consistent and show up every single day, like online, understand the method you want to go after, go all in on that and just really be a student to the game, and then get in the rooms. Like find the weekly networking, find the monthly networking, find the Facebook groups, find the coaches or the mentors that are out there and be a student of the game. Literally do nothing for 3 to 9 months. And I know that's not popular in today's world of everything happening quickly, but I promise you, the people that you're watching did not get to that point quickly. I mean, my story is 10 years and I didn't make a single video to go on the internet for the first 8 years. Nobody
Yeah.
heard from me. My
Yeah.
face was down. I was working my guts out. Like that was it. And then once you've absorbed that information, you soaked it all in. And then you're show up consistently online. You show up to these events and then you start looking for these deals. People will notice that and people will want to work with you. And in your first deals, you might have to give up a little bit more of a split. You might not get a private money lender like I did, like I do right now.
Yeah.
You might have to go on the deal and do 50-50 with somebody. You might have to go 70-30, 20-80. I don't know. But in the beginning, that is okay because eventually you will be able to break off and go on your own because your resume will allow you to. So just understand that like 100% of a grape. Wait, what is that saying? I can't remember what I used to say. It was like
You'd
50%.
rather own like 10% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So just keep that in mind. So make yourself investable, be an expert and be laser focused and be patient. Give yourself grace
Yeah.
because it's not going to happen overnight.
Honestly, dude, I think the two really big takeaways that I just heard you say were two things. Number one, get at bats, right? Like stand up to the plate, swing. If you're not going to swing, you're never going to hit a home run. It doesn't have to be a home run though. It can be a single, double, or triple, right? Or
Yeah.
you just go on base because you get walked. But then the
Yeah.
second thing and the most important thing is because we talk to a lot of people, I'm sure you do the same, that struggle every day. but it's like you're only going to fail if you quit. If you don't quit, you're just going to keep grinding it out, keep meeting people. Like I met you and you taught me, you're teaching me so much, and hopefully I'm teaching you something. I don't know what I would teach you, but you know what I mean. Like just start meeting people, and you never know. Like Tom, our coach says to us, like, you're only one relationship away from really changing your life. And I truly do believe that now that I'm in like this group, and I found this other group that I really enjoy the presence of the people inside the group, because they're all like-minded and they all just didn't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
Okay, so you kind of mentioned a little bit, dude, like you're finding these deals on the MLS, but what are your core like marketing strategies now? And then can you talk about like get your first deal, you might be willing to take 20% to someone's 80 or 50-50, but how are you in a position now where you have, it sounds like someone that's just like, dude, I trust you, man. If you bring me a deal, I will write the check and we'll all make money together. Can you kind of start there and then take us to where you are today?
Yeah, big time. So when I say there's deals on the MLS, that's one of my buy sources. And you guys want to have multiple buy sources, but the thing that doesn't change is the buy sources change, the buy box does not. Your buy box is your North Star. So what zip codes, what communities, what style house, how many square foot, renovation style, beds, baths, ARV, that's all your buy box, right? But now my buy sources are MLS is a great place because number one is what I study on the MLS are the sold comps more than anything, because the sold is my ARV. That's what everything starts with. So seeing what happens in a neighborhood, both good and bad, as far as ARV, is really important. So that's one of the ways is things that pop up on the MLS I want to be at. Number two is I love expired and canceled listings are great ways to go. I also love digging in and using like an app like Deal Machine is amazing, or even your county auditor site, your clerk of courts, and seeing the looking through the records. And a lot of times these are free or very inexpensive. So all you need to do is go down to your county and yes, you can get 90% of them online. I like to, for the initial meeting, go down to where they're held and meet them. I want to put a face to the name. I want to meet the people that are in charge of these. So then I just have that relationship, because we're losing we're losing sight of just relationships and like touches. And
Yeah.
yeah, in a world where like AI can really pull everything, which I'm still all for leveraging AI. Um, Relationship matters a lot, especially to some of these people that are a little more old schoolish or whatever. Maybe looking at your pre-foreclosures, your probate deals, your people that recently divorced, and getting into there and listening and actually working to solve their problem and like what they have going on. So those are a few of the angles. And then now with these relationships I have with these private money lenders, man, it's just like from years of them just watching me and trusting me and me doing what I say I'm going to do. And listen, not all of it's been good. I've had a couple deals where it's been like tough. And I'm like, guys, like, hey, this isn't going great. I might need a little bit more money. And I understand that that's going to be my profit. But like being honest and transparent, because when you're taking private money, it's not like taking the bank's money. These people work their whole life to save this money.
Yeah.
So you have to treat it better than you would treat your own money. And yeah, I mean, it's just the private money is just relationship based lending, and it doesn't happen overnight. But it's just trust based lending that really anybody can do. You just got to prove that you're worthy and trustworthy enough to take somebody's money.
Yeah, and that takes a long time to build up that level of trust. And I'm sure you're at the point where now you're like, here's the deal, it works, and they're like, cool. I don't even need to see it. Like we trust you
Yeah,
so much, man, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you mentioned like all these different lead sources, but let's focus on MLS because a lot of people listening probably have access to MLS. Walk us through like you find an ARV by studying closed comps, and then you go through, let's pick one, expired listings. Where like what's your tactical action that you take to get that deal done?
I love that. So let me do this for you guys, man. This could be your biggest takeaway out of all the episodes Andrew's ever done. No, is okay. These are my hot sheets. I'm going to talk to you guys about setting up my hot sheets real quick and how that helps me. So once I've defined my buy box and my North Star, the next thing that I set up are called hot sheets. And my hot sheet basically it shows you any changes that a property makes on the MLS within a 24-hour period. Now, and I will target my zip codes that I have. And I want to know this anytime any of the following changes happens in my zip codes, I want to get notified. I want to get notified when a property goes active. When a property comes up for sale, I want to get notified immediately. When a property goes pending, that means that it's under contract and somebody says they're going to close on it. Now,
Mhm.
they don't always close on it, but just pending means set to close, whatever. You can still do backup offers on that. So active, pending. I want to know when a property goes back on market. So that means it goes from pending to back to active because maybe the inspections were not great, the financing fell through, something happened right there, right? So you got active, pending, back on market. Then I want to know when a property is canceled or expired. Now, an expired listing is anytime somebody puts something on the MLS, they have a listing agreement. Maybe for 6 months, they'll put it up, for 3 months, or whatever. Well, it becomes expired if the property does not sell within that period of time. So then it's an expired listing. And then I want to know when the canceled listing happens. And canceled listings are maybe it got terminated before it expired because maybe like the seller is a pain to work with, the realtor sucked, something happened, right? But I also want to know when that happens. So I want to know when a property goes active, pending, back on market, canceled, and expired. Now
How
the
are you
last one
actually doing this though? Are you going in manually and looking to say, oh, 123 Main Street? Tell us how you're doing this automatically.
So I'm doing it automatically by having number one is you can set this stuff up on like redfin.com. You can set up this up to get email alerts a lot. Like Redfin is insanely annoying. They send you these all the time, which is
Yeah.
okay. You want to look, but any realtor can set this up for you. Like, and it takes them like 15 minutes. So like a $25 gift card to Starbucks or whatever, you can ask the realtor to set this up for you. The last thing you want to know though too on that list is sold listings. Because
Mhm.
like I said, the sold listings are probably the most important because they're going to give you your ARV and tell you like where to start and what that looks like. So it's insanely important. Everybody's really quick to go off market, off market, off market,
Right.
but you don't know what a good off market deal looks like unless you know what a on market deal is selling for.
Yeah.
Like that's the North Star is what is the market telling you to do? So I think after watching this, you guys need to go set up your hot sheets. Again, ask a realtor to set up a hot sheet. They'll know what that is. You want to know when a property is active, pending, back on market, canceled, expired, and sold. And you want to get notified every 24 hours every time one of those things happen so you can know right away. And honestly, for the active, I want to know like right away because I
Gotcha.
see active
So
as
immediately, you
opportunities.
mean? Like as
Yeah,
soon as
so
it
I
goes
can go look
active?
at it.
Okay, cool.
Speed, 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 speed.
All right, dude. So you set up this list. It's essentially a drip with what you just described through what your buy box is. Everyone's buy box is going to be different. Then you have an agent, or if you have, access yourself, you set it up yourself. Say, hey, I want to know when this happens, that happens, this happens, and then you you get notified of something that just got canceled. What do you do next?
I pull up the address. I'll go to a site like True People Search or even Facebook, and I'll put the address in there and then find out who the owner of the property is. And then they'll be able to kind of match up their phone number using like True People Search, like their name with their number. And I'll literally call them and I'll just say, like, hey, the first thing I like to do is just acknowledge it's like random. Like, hey, I know this is totally random, but I saw that your house on Maple just got canceled. Out of curiosity, are you still interested in selling it? And then just let them talk. Yeah, well, the realtor sucked, or this and blah blah blah, blah, all this stuff. I'm like, cool, awesome. Like, I'm super interested. I've actually been like had my eye on the property for a little bit. Would there any way I could come out? Any way I could come out and take a look at it? Like, can I come out and take a look at what you got going on? I don't talk about the price. I don't talk about any of that. I just want to know, is there any intent of selling it? Like, I want the at bat.
If
So
they
then
have
I
true
go out.
motivation, they'll say yes. Come out and take a
Yep.
look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll come out and look at it and I'll see what it's listed for. And then right off the bat, I'm just like instantly like, well, 6% cheaper because no realtors are involved. And then I'll budget like another, 3 to 5 or 10% for closing costs and inspections and whatnot. So
Mhm.
like right off the bat, there's almost a 20% less than what it was listed for value that I could offer. But then I run my playbook of like, cool. So tell me, like, why are you selling the property? Like, I do it in person. And like, in a world where everything's so like virtual and remote, people still like people. Like, I picked up my last deal and I wasn't even the highest offer on this one down, not even far from here. But the guy was like, man, you came out and met me. I really liked you. The other people I haven't met yet, they're from Columbus. Like, I'm like, dude, sell it to me. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna sell it to you. And I'm like, cool. So like, and they were like $4,000 higher than my offer. But he like like we just had a good relationship. Like it was cool.
Yeah, that's big, man.
Yeah.
So you don't even really address price. You just say, "Hey, man, hey Andrew, I saw that you just canceled your property. Can I come out? I'm really interested in that street." Then you just go meet them and start to build rapport, but most importantly, start to build a relationship, which AI or over the phone is a little struggling with right now. Correct?
Yeah, I think so. A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then, are you, just to clarify, you're entering into a direct purchase contract with them? So it's not like you're an agent, you're going to list it again. You're just saying, hey, I want to buy it for myself. And then you're doing what with it? What's your exit strategy for these homes?
Most of the time, it's going to be just to buy them and renovate and keep them, just like burr them and keep them. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, Jarius, I don't have any money. I'm you 10 years ago. Dude, that's okay. What I would do then is like reverse wholesale. I would build a buyer's list of people that have and get their buy box. All you really need are like 5 to 15 people that are seriously buying real estate. And then the word track changes a little bit. Like, hey Andrew, I saw you had a house on Maple that just canceled. Man, my partner and I have been had our eye on that for a little bit. Are you still interested in selling it? I'd love to come out and take a look at it. And then you're like my partner and I, right? And then it's the person that you're a property scout for. You're their acquisition associate. And you're not just like picking up deals and throwing like seeing what sticks. Like you actually have somebody in mind that would buy the house and pay you a fee of three, four, five, $10,000 or whatever. Not every wholesale deal needs to be a $25,000 hit. I forget who this one guy I see on TikTok. He's like, the easiest way to make $100,000 a month is to sell 4 properties and make 25,000 off each property, and you just made $100,000. And I'm like, right, but like I've done 1,000 wholesale deals, and our average markup was like $6,500, $7,000.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, we just ripping heads off, or do we
Such
want to
an
really help the
arbitrary
seller?
number. Why not 50K each
Yeah,
property, right?
yeah. Like I actually like want to help these sellers, and I don't want to like kill them. Like I want to give them really fair offers, and I want these end buyers to keep buying real estate from me. So like, it's okay to make like $5,000 to $10,000 a deal because you can do many more of them. Like
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, that's the key, I think, to continue those relationships, especially if it's with someone you've done for a long time. I remember back in the day losing a couple grand just to keep that relationship going, or making a grand or making nothing. And you just do it because, okay, you're going to get next one. You're going to get next one. They're going to be like, damn, man, Jarius, like, he told me he lost a 1,500 on this, but he still wanted to make me feel comfortable with it.
And then think about this too, Andrew. This is probably the most important part is like you sell that deal to them and you are a part of their journey. Now, I would go there every day and take photos of the kitchen, the bathroom, the renovations and share them on my profile. And like, man, check out this house that we're doing. We're doing this. And then even if you don't have a penny into it, you don't need to. You share that journey and people instantly think, man, oh man, Andrew, real estate, Andrew showing this house, this, and then they don't need to know it's not your house. Yeah, I actually help my partner get it. It's not mine, but like I help my partner get it, and like I'm a big part of what they're doing. Eventually, I want to get some more money together to do one myself and whatever. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
what's stopping you? I'm like, I'm just trying to save up some more money. Well, I have money and I've seen that you've done like 4 of these. Like, do you feel like you probably might know a little bit? And like, yeah, maybe we can partner, blah, blah, blah. Like sharing that journey. The deal with these wholesalers, it doesn't stop when you sell the house. It stops when the home is done getting renovated. Sharing that story along the way is not getting talked about enough by other people out there, like being a real part of it, because you want to get into wholesaling real estate to get out of it as fast as possible.
Yes.
My biggest regret is doing 1,000 deals, guys. I could have done 150, 200 deals, cleaned up my credit, house hacked, and bought my first rental. But I kept wholesaling. And wholesaling is not the end game. It's the beginning so you can get out of it as fast as possible. That
Yeah.
is it.
Wholesaling's the transactional part. What you're doing now is the generational wealth building part.
1,000%.
So
Yep.
that's awesome, man. Well, Jairus, this has been incredibly eye-opening. Such an amazing story that you have going from, your high school days through the Army to where you are today. I'm really glad that we got to meet in Nashville, and I'm really glad that I got to have you on this episode. So, to wrap things up, dude, what is one thing that you can share? Take this from Tom, and I give him credit every single time. For people who have listened for this long, a resource, a book, a program, anything that you can share with someone to better their life, their business, their community.
Can I say my book? My book's really good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I want a copy of your book, dude.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Well, this is my book here. This is actually not the real size of it, guys. But
I prefer larger than life size books. So if you can send me that version, that'd be cool.
my book, just get in the rooms where you feel uncomfortable. Like that's where the growth happens. Like it's so easy to get complacent and just to be used to who we're used to being around, but like get in the rooms where people are better than you and challenge you and you're just not the smartest person in the room. And understand that like the people that you're worried about like thinking you're weird or thinking this and that about you or like, oh, he's at it again, they don't really matter. Like, and that's like the biggest thing is just get in the rooms, get on, like listen to every episode that every guest that Andrew's ever brought on, listen to them. They've all got a different story and one of them is going to hit harder than the other. And just give yourself like patience, grace, and just get after it. Like, I'd rather see you make imperfect action than sit there and play on spreadsheets all day trying to figure it
Exactly.
out.
Very cool, man. Well, man, again, awesome to meet you in Nashville. Awesome to continue this relationship. I'm gonna we'll talk offline after we're done here in a minute. And I got a good copy of your book because I read all the time. I just finished a book, so I'm looking for my next one.
Awesome. I got you, man.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for being here, dude.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.
See ya.